Now, so on this measure, as an example, we've got the Democratic Party supporting Prop H,
Yeah.
public advocate, which I'm going to talk to you about and ask for your support. The Republican Party is opposing it. I think the last crowd running the Democratic Party, they would have been in lockstep with the Republicans and the realtors, and not even given voters like a clear contrast. So the public advocate measure, Prop H, is something that New York's done for 23 years, had this office, and this is the public advocate of New York, current one, Letitia James. I'll pass this around. This is the annual report from our first year, this is the annual report for our second year. It's an office, it's a watchdog for the people, and it's a citywide official whose sole job is to make sure San Franciscans get the service from the government they deserve and that they're paying for. The New York office has engaged in a variety of issues, protecting tenants and holding bad landlords accountable is one of the big things they've done. I think it's a key reason that the Association of Realtors is leading the opposition here. That in both these reports, it talks about Bill de Blasio was the last public advocate in New York, and the voters liked him well enough, they elected him here. Not perfect either, but certainly someone who, engaged in real issues, and he started, and Letitia James has continued, a 100 worst slumlords list. So a way to sort of call out the slumlords, the big ones, not little dinky things, but repeated violations where horrific living conditions and vulnerable tenants are not getting even just basic repairs done. And because of overwhelming resources, big landlords, as you all probably well know, can get away with that for a long time, and tenants are usually on short end of the stick. So public advocate, one thing they can do, and that's one example, they've got a bullet pulpit, they're a citywide elected official with the mandate of the people. They don't have a myriad of other things, that some will say, well, the supervisor should be doing this job, why can't they just work harder, right?
Yeah,
And
they got that extra aid.
They should work harder. But supervisors, yes, they do constituent service, but they also do politics, they also do legislation, they're also responsible for the budget. There's a myriad of, you can talk to the supervisor about anything, and they do have 3 staff now, but there are plenty as a constituent. I don't know if you try to get problems resolved through your supervisor office, you don't always get the attention that you need because there are limited resources. So the public advocate, in one part, is a constituent service sort of court of appeal. If you can't get what you need through 311, through the department, through your supervisor, you can go to the public advocate. I was just in New York last month. There's a line of people at the door saying, I had a problem, help me. And at least they have the ability and the mandate to try. And they can cut through the supervisors are also limited. All they can do is inquire when Muni or DPW or the homelessness, they can't interfere, they can't go any further than ask questions of department heads by law, by penalty of misconduct and being kicked out of their job. Public advocates still couldn't do the job for the departments, but they can go further and really press the point, try to make sure departments are responsive. The other is an investigatory sort of watchdog power. That's the other sort of component of public advocate. That's why I think realtors and the Chamber of Commerce and Lee's administration are so scared of it, because when you have sweetheart deals and bloated contracts and hundreds of $millions spent on homelessness services and not a problem that's getting better, again, other parts of our current government can look at it, but the public advocate is not working for the mayor. The controllers, another point some have brought up is we have a city controller who is presumably another sort of auditing function. The controller is appointed by the mayor.
Right.
The current controller in particular worked for, before he was appointed controller, Ed Lee as deputy city administrator, and his term is up in 2 years. So presumably Ben Rosenfield I'm not sort of going at him on any particular issue, but has an incentive not to make the current administration look bad in any way, because he was hoping to get reappointed. So public advocate doesn't have that. They're only accountable to the people. The last piece of it, because we're in a room where police misconduct and shootings have been part of what we've been talking about in a major way in the last couple of years. In particular, in Prop H, the public advocate would also have one power related to police misconduct, which is to appoint the director of the Office of Citizen Complaints, which is the independent agency that investigates. And currently, as you probably all well know, the police chief's appointed by the mayor, majority of the police commission's appointed by the mayor, and the head of the agency that's supposed to oversee problems in the other two is appointed by the mayor. So nothing else. And Prop G, which is Supervisor Cohen's sponsored measure on the ballot, which we support, complements this measure. It doesn't speak to this issue. So that measure, which you'll hear about, or I can talk about a little bit, renames the department and gives it a little more teeth, but it doesn't deal with who runs the Office of Citizen Complaints. Prop H would empower the public advocate still to have that appointment confirmed by the supervisor, so it's not a freewheel.
Right, it would go through the same
So
process
that's
and procedure.
recommended by the police commission, a short list of qualified candidates, the way it is now. But unlike currently, it wouldn't be the mayor appointing all three, it would be an independent. So those are the three jobs. And it's an elected city official. It will be elected at the next citywide election, which is currently a couple years away, June 2018, unless there's a sooner citywide. So if we pass this in November, it's not immediate. We still have a little time to figure it out. There will be, of course, lots of jockeying for who's going to run. My view is that it won't be, once people start to look at what the job is, I think most regular old politicians who are looking for another lily pad will not want to do this job. It's a substantive, every problem in the city that's not being solved in some other way is going to come to the public advocate.
Right.
And if you're not solving those problems, you're going to get heat immediately. So I don't think it's going to be a fun press conference-y,
Right.
dance around, run for higher office, that's why you do it job. I think it's going to be a substantive job. And it also, the measure includes a little insulation from the other parts of San Francisco politics, like the Ethics Commission. Public advocate would not be allowed to endorse candidates for office.
Right.
Once you're a public advocate, once you're an ethics commissioner, you can't engage in that level of city politics. You can't contribute to campaigns.
And that would deter some candidates
So
too.
that said, and those are the basics.